Hi, I'm Marc Juzkow with Leyden Energy. We're the battery guys. It's it's an honor and a special privilege to be invited here by Mike Ryan, electric vehicle manufacturer. You see, battery manufacturers and electric vehicle manufacturers haven't always had the best relationship. It's been more like a love-hate relationship. In 1830 was the first electric vehicle was developed. And back then, the batteries for those electric vehicles were single use. So every time you went out, drove around, you'd have to come home and take out the battery, throw it away, and put a new battery in there. So obviously, they didn't sell a lot of electric vehicles in those days, right? So it wasn't until 1860 when one of my colleagues developed a lead-acid battery. And this lead-acid battery was rechargeable. It's the same lead-acid battery you have in your cars today. So all of a sudden, the electric vehicle guys jumped on board and started using these lead-acid batteries. And the electric vehicle industry took off. It was quite an amazing kind of car when you compared it to the fuel-driven gas cars of the day. They were very noisy, clunkers. You had to hand crank them. So that wasn't easy. And they smelled all the gas. And so electric vehicles were really the car of the day. And even in 1897, New York City had a whole fleet of electric cars as taxis back in 1897. In 1900, there was actually more electric vehicles sold than gas-powered cars in 1900. So it was a really good, it was the Renaissance. It was a great time for electric vehicles. But it wasn't until the arch enemy, the arch villain of electric vehicles, Henry Ford, started manufacturing in mass production the Model Ts. And that was the start of the end for electric vehicles. They were cheap. They were about half the price of the lowest cost electric vehicle. So it was really difficult to compete against the Model T. And by 1930s, the EV industry was dead in America. There was really, all the companies went out of business. So let's flash forward to 1980. So all of a sudden, you have the oil crisis. You have high, gasoline prices spiraling up. And now everybody's saying, hey, let's go back to EVs. Why not? You don't use gas, they're cheap. And batteries have improved. Well, have they improved? I mean, batteries don't improve very fast. I mean, innovation's very, very slow in the battery industry, not like the semiconductor industry. So, around the 80s, the end of the 80s, General Motors got involved and they developed the EV1. And the EV1, they decided to use lead-acid batteries in that car. The same lead-acid batteries that they were using in 1900 in the electric vehicles back then. So you can imagine, I mean, these batteries were 900 pounds of batteries. It's probably about the same weight as the entire Triac. I mean, it was very heavy. And why would they use that battery? Who knows? But, the battery industry, so, the EV guys weren't very happy with us at that time because, hey, the batteries aren't good enough. They have to be better. So some of my colleagues developed a nickel metal hydride battery. And that was better, but still not good enough for the EVs. I mean, every hybrid electric vehicle, like the Priuses and all that, they all use the nickel metal hydride batteries. So they're pretty good, but they don't have the energy density to give these cars the long runtime that they need. So let's go back about 20 years, 1990. Lithium-ion was developed by some of my colleagues and myself. 20 years ago we did that. And lithium-ion was kind of a cool technology. It had very high energy density. All your mobile phones today, all your laptops today use lithium-ion. And that's, you get long runtime, in these devices. I hope you do. And but the problem is, I don't know if you have the same problem as I do, but every year, 2 years, I have to replace my laptop battery. And so how can you use a lithium-ion battery in electric vehicles like this when Mike's asking me for 10 years plus of runtime? You compare that to a laptop battery, and it's tough. So what we had to do is drop the energy density of lithium-ion by half. So we only get half the runtime with current lithium-ion batteries. Now, this is where my company, Leyden Energy, comes into play. What we did was we developed a battery that will give you the full 10 years of runtime with twice the energy density. So this is, we can drive your car twice as long with our batteries that we developed in Fremont, California, than comparable batteries that you're using today in the electric vehicles. So this is a huge step forward. The other advantage we have is that we can take the heat. Our batteries they can handle very high temperatures and still give you the 10 years plus that you need in your vehicle. I don't know, can you imagine if you had to take your car right now and every 5 years replace the engine? You know, that's pretty costly. So it'd be the same thing as if your lithium-ion battery died on you every 5 years. So really, 10 years plus, 15 years, this is what we need in lithium-ion batteries, and this is what our company will give you. It's especially in high temperatures. In high temperatures, Salinas gets pretty hot, I've heard, but maybe not today. But you know, it does get pretty hot over here, and there's, you know, Southern California, Texas, Florida, Arizona. You know, it gets pretty hot. So conventional lithium-ion batteries don't do well in the heat, and this is where the Leyden Energy system will take the heat. So these are some of the benefits that we've developed in our batteries to work in the automotive battery system. So I'd like to talk about, just to thank the California Energy Commission, the state of California. They gave us a multi-million-dollar grant to develop, to do production. So we're going to be putting in a lot of production equipment, creating a lot of jobs in California. And in conjunction with Mike Ryan and Green Vehicles, we'll be putting these batteries into these cars that you see in front of you. So we're very excited about that. It's a really good time. It's an exciting time. You know, we're getting support from the state government. We're getting support from the local government. The mayor, Dennis Donahue, who you just heard, strong support, and this is great. You know, it's a really exciting time for electric vehicles, you know, in California. And we, you know, really what we want to do is we want to take the automotive industry away from Detroit, Michigan. We want to bring it here. You know, this is where electric vehicles need to flourish, you know, California. So this is our goal, this is our dream, and it's happening today. So I'd like to thank you for your attention.